cold day today in Chicago, and I thought of making a chicken soup for my family today. Went to the store and just got some really simple ingredients. Celery, I got some leg quarters, onions, garlic, and I'm also gonna make a quick dessert using store-bought pound cake and fresh blueberries. This recipe is so simple. You could use the whole cut up chicken. You could take a whole chicken and cut it up yourself. I found some leg quarters on sale, so that's what I'm gonna use. You can really just find any old chicken that's in your grocery. I do recommend getting organic chicken, or if not organic chicken, all natural chicken. It just has a much better flavor, and I think it just has a much better flavor. So there you go, get my apron on. So like I said, I went ahead and found some leg quarters at the store. Grab my knife. What I'm going to do here is take a pot, put the chicken, and you want to leave the skins on because it does give a lot of flavor to your chicken soup. If you don't like the skin, you could go ahead and take it off later on. But I suggest leaving it on there. We're gonna go over here by the sink and grab some water. You wanna fill it all the way to the top, covering all the chicken pieces. We're going to bring it to a boil. We're going to bring it to a boil over the stove. Cover, bring it to a boil, and once it starts boiling, you want to bring it down to a rolling boil and not such a hard boil. That way you have a nice clear broth. I'm going to wash my hands real quick because I just touched that chicken. And we're going to start slicing the onions, carrots, and everything else. I'm going to grab a plate here. Soup is something we all really love over the winter. Even on warm days, I like to have just like a room temperature pasta soup. But chicken soup is just something we all love so much, and every culture has their own version of a chicken soup. This one uses very simple ingredients. I'm going ahead here and peeling a large carrot. Very large carrot. I also like to use baby carrots sometimes because it's already a really nice size. And I am just going to simply cut this in half first. Cut it lengthwise in half. And just cut it into half moves. Very simple. Not too small, not too big. It doesn't have to be completely uniform. Just a nice and homemade. Take the other half here. This is also a good recipe if you're really in a crunch during the week using rotisserie chicken. Rotisserie chicken is one of those things that I just really love. It's already perfectly done for you. You take it home, you can cut it apart, turn it into chicken salad, turn it into your chicken soup, put it in a stir fry. There's so many things that you could do with it. I'm gonna take 2 stalks of celery, and I actually like using the inside of the celery with the leaves. I think it has a really nice flavor. You can use everything. Use the leaves and just cut it slice it thinly. And I'm just gonna slice it at a diagonal. Yeah, just to give some different shapes to the soup. The leaves are good, and if you're not a big celery fan, just use one stalk. You don't need to do two. I don't mind celery so much. I think it tastes good. Okay. Onion. So one large onion. Our skin. Clean this up here, throw this stuff away. It's a good one to let the kids eat, keep them healthy. Use alphabet pasta, make it interesting for them, make them wanting to eat their soup. Today I'm actually going to add some boxed wild rice to it. It's brown rice pilaf, and it's just to add a little bit more texture to the soup, make it a little bit more hearty. You can add pasta, brown rice. Ooh, that's a strong onion. And my secret ingredient here is actually ginger. So I'm not even going to peel it. I'm just going to take the little ends off. And just do 3 nice slices of ginger and throw it in the pot. Actually right now with the chicken as it's boiling. And that's especially good. Ooh, that onion is so strong. I'm going to take about 4 cloves of garlic. And the way you can tell you have really fresh garlic is that when you buy it in the store, make sure that it's a very tight bowl. You don't see it kind of opening up, that means that it's old. A really fresh garlic is tight and it's good that it's kind of hard for you to take apart. That means it's a fresher garlic. And it's a good way for you to see how fresh the garlic is sitting in the grocery store. It's been about 30 to 45 minutes, and now it's time to take the chicken out of the boiling water. And that's the time now that I'm going to take the skins off and shred the meat and put it back in. And also the time that I'm going to put the vegetables in, okay? Taking these out now. What we want to do now, it's obviously still very, very hot and it'll be very difficult to handle. So we want to keep it aside and let it cool before we start shredding it and taking the skins off. Like I said today, this version of chicken soup, I did want to add some rice to it. It's really a rendition of a really good Filipino style chicken and rice soup. And I'm just using store-bought boxed rice. It's a brown rice pilaf, which means it has orzo pasta in it as well. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And there's a packet inside of these things of seasoning. I'm not going to use this. I just really want the rice and pasta that's in the box. You could use this for something else. Use it for, you know, your next recipe, potatoes, whatever you might. But I'm not going to use that. I'm going to save that. So now that the chicken is waiting to cool, I'm going to go ahead and take our rice along with the vegetables that we went ahead and cut up earlier today. And we're going to put it in the broth and let it start to cook while we're waiting for the chicken to cool. So I'm going to go ahead and dump the rice in here. Put the whole box in along with our vegetables. So now that all the celery, carrots, onions, along with the brown rice pilaf is in here, I'm just going to give it a quick stir. We want 2 tablespoons of salt and some fresh cracked pepper. So I have this little salt grinder here. Use kosher salt. I like kosher salt better than table salt. I'll find it less salty. If that makes any sense, I use less of it. Okay, so we're gonna do salt. It takes me a while to grind this, so there. And some fresh cracked pepper. As little or as much as you'd like with a pepper. Some people like it real peppery, like me and my family. Others just want a little hint of it, which is fine. You want to turn the heat up to high. Because remember, we turned it down medium while the chicken was cooking, so that was at a rolling boil. So now that we added more ingredients, we just want to turn it up to high so that it comes up to a boil. We want to keep an eye on it. Close the lid. And we'll go check on our chicken for shred. So these guys are still a little warm, but I think I can handle it. What I'm going to do actually is take a fork and took the skin off and peeled it off the chicken. And I'm just going to shred this up. Probably helps with 2 forks. I can use my hands if it's not too hot. It's a little bit so hot. Just like 2 forks. Just take it off the bone. As much as you can. What I'm going to do is take all the meat. You could shred it small, shred it into large pieces. It really all depends on you. Same thing on all of them. I'm going to carefully take the skin off because I don't want that all in my soup. I do want it in the broth while I was making it because I think it does need a little bit of fat. Since I'm not really putting any oil or anything in there. And the bones for the flavor, so this is why I love making my homemade chicken soup. So now that the vegetables and the rice have been cooking for about 30 more minutes, we're ready to go ahead and put the shredded chicken in. We're gonna taste it for flavor and kind of add more salt or pepper as much, depending on how you're tasting it. And we should be all done, and we'll move on to a really easy dessert that I have with store-bought pound cake and some fresh blueberries, okay? So let's go ahead and check to this. Is definitely smelling good. Okay, so now I'm going to taste for seasoning. Make sure it has enough salt and pepper in it. Okay, we want just a little bit more salt and pepper. And it's very important to always taste your cooking as you go because you'll never really know how good or bad it is if you don't taste it. And that's really a good cook secret. It's tasting your food along the way. And that's also what's really nice about cooking. Is that you can, as you go, kind of taste, add ingredients as you like. Oh yeah, now you can see the pepper. Like I said, I really like fresh cracked pepper and I put it on everything. And the soup is no exception. So now I'm going to go ahead and put it in our bowl. A ladle. So hearty. Ready to taste chicken and rice soup. It's hot, but it's so good. On a nice cold day like this, it's a perfect meal. Oh yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna set that aside. We're gonna make a really quick dessert. Like I said, I got some store-bought golden pound cake. Just open that here. And there are lots of specialty grocers fresh markets that get their baked goods delivered every morning from a local bakery. So you don't also, it's a really good way to get fresh baked items. Look how awesome that looks. I have a pint of blueberries here that we're gonna wash real quickly to make the sauce to go on top of our store-bought pound cake. So we're gonna go ahead here, quickly run it through. Don't need to do much. Run it through the water and just set it aside. Turn off our soup here. In just a small pan, we're just gonna turn it on, put in the blueberries, 1 pint of blueberries, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and let it cook together, and that's your topping, okay? I'm just gonna let those blueberries cook with the brown sugar on medium-low heat for about 5 to 8 minutes. Put the berries over it. And I'll bring this over so you can see. Smell the brown sugar. Just put berries all over your pound cake and serve it to your guests. And I think it's a pretty good meal that we've done for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Momma Cuisine. If you want to see any more recipes or articles, please visit mommacuisine.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel right here. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.